Up the score 21. I am back. Shout out to the new subscribers, man. I really appreciate people subscribing, people watching this channel, people commenting. Very humbled by it. Wanted to give more thoughts on Fury versus Wilder because I'm very much looking forward to this fight, man. This is it's rare in boxing these days where you get that even matchup. And Vegas has this as even as you could possibly get it. I think I went on earlier. It was Wilder's like minus 120 and Fury's like minus 110. So, I mean, it is close. It is very close. It's as close to a toss-up as you're going to get. And this is a pick 'em fight. Excuse me. And I was thinking, and each day this week, this is fight week, I'm going to do a video discussing different things. But I was thinking, looking at these odds, what do you think is more likely, a Fury knockout or a Wilder decision? Because when you look at Vegas and you look at the odds and you look at all the boxing experts out there discussing this fight, they're all saying pretty much Fury by decision or Wilder by knockout. All right, they're giving these guys pretty much a narrow way of winning this fight. Either Wilder's going to knock him out or he's going to get bested on the cards. Either Fury is going to take this thing 12, or he's going to lose the fight by knockout. Not too many people are saying, I think Fury is going to knock him out. Not too many people saying Wilder by decision. So I was thinking, which one is more likely? And Vegas, as far as their odds go, they're thinking that a Fury knockout is more likely than a Wilder decision. I think Wilder by decision was like plus 800. And Fury by knockout was like plus 425. So they're saying that, they're first of all saying that they think that Wilder's going to win. They think that the most likely scenario in this fight is Wilder's going to win by knockout. All right, then the second most likely is Fury by decision. That's according to Vegas odds. Then the third most likely is Fury by knockout, Wilder by decision. I think the third most likely is Wilder by decision, to be quite honest, because I could see Fury win 7 rounds, 8 rounds, and then Wilder get 2 to 3 knockdowns in the fight, even the thing up, make it close, and get the benefit of the doubt on the judges. Remember, it's not by your scorecard, it's by the 3 judges' scorecards. What I've noticed is judges love those flashy punches. Judges love punches that make you know, you hear them. You see the fighters, the opponent's head snap back. So Wilder might catch him with 3 or 4 punches, but then, or Fury might catch him with 3 or 4 punches, pity-pat punches, but then Wilder catches him with something big that he sits on, and that turns the round. So I really think that Vegas is misjudging that. I think that a Wilder decision is more likely. And let's not make the mistake in saying that Wilder is just this pedestrian amateur boxer. I mean, Wilder has some boxing ability. Not as good, not nearly as good as Fury as far as the boxing ability goes in technique. He does fall in with his punches. He does lose his footing, but he does work behind that jab as well. And when he sits on those punches, I mean, believe me, it hurts, and it makes an impact on those judges. So I just think that a Wilder decision is more likely than a Fury knockout, because and that's not saying that Fury can't knock Wilder out. We've seen Wilder hurt before. Look at the Ortiz fight, the first Ortiz fight. If you set up your punches and you catch this guy, you can hurt him. The thing though is Ortiz sits on his punches more than Fury does, right? Like Fury in the first Wilder fight, he didn't sit on his punches as much because he was afraid of what's coming back, right? So, and not saying that Wilder is a great counterpuncher, but when you're done getting off your shots, Wilder's coming right back. So Fury is more likely to sit on his back foot, get out of there, use lateral movement. If the fight does get close quarters, you know, he'll clinch. But I don't see Fury sitting on those punches as much. If he does sit on those punches, and throw some big right hands and throw some big hooks, he can catch Wilder and get a knockout. I just don't see that as likely as Wilder getting a couple knockdowns in this fight, evening up the scorecards and getting the benefit of the doubt on 2 of the judges' scorecards and winning a close decision. I just think Wilder by decision is much more likely, not much more likely, but slightly more likely than a Fury knockout. But make no mistake, Vegas is saying, first of all, they think that Wilder slightly more than Fury. Wilder's going to knock out Fury. The second most likely scenario is that Fury wins by decision. Third is that Fury wins by knockout. Fourth is that Wilder wins this thing by decision. But I got a lot more to say about this, man. I'm going to break it up video by video. Also wanted to talk about the rematch factor of this because, and I'll save that for a video tomorrow, because you would think that the boxer generally, Fury is coming in heavier for a reason. He looks fitter this time. DG0082, yeah, shout out to you, man. Yeah, you know, and I've heard people saying that newer trainer, he's coming in a little heavier. He's sitting on his punches. You know, we'll talk about that as well. I just don't think he's going to sit on his punches consistently throughout this fight. I think his easier pathway to victory is by decision and staying away from that big right hand. Like you cannot discount enough, like the fact that Wilder is a humongous puncher, and to go 12 rounds with this guy already and feel those right hands, and then you got to go another 12 with him. I think Fury's going to be a little shy as to mix it up with Wilder, is what I'm saying. So I just don't see him sitting on those punches as much. But I have heard, Bob Arum was one of them, and a couple other people, that Fury's going to sit on his punches and he's going to go for a knockout and try to get Wilder in the middle rounds when he starts to wilter a little bit. We'll see. I hope that happens, because I'd love to see these guys exchange a lot. I would love it. But I'm going to drop a video on the rematch factor as well, because generally speaking, you favor the boxer in the second fight, in the rematch, right? Being that he's more versatile. He can do more things in the rematch. He has a higher ring IQ. So he figures things out from the first fight to the second fight. However, Wilder has won all of his rematches so far. I mean, look at the Bermani-Stavern fight. Not only did he win the rematch, he looked better, much better in the second fight. Look at the Ortiz fight. Not only did he win the rematch against a much better boxer, technical boxer, he looked astounding doing it. So these are two guys, Stavern and Ortiz, where the overwhelmingly, the theory going in from a lot of people, Wilder only has a puncher's chance. Fury will adapt to anything Wilder does. I agree with you on Fury. Like, I think he can adapt to a lot of things. Obviously, he has a great chin, and we'll talk about that as well when I do my official prediction. So shout out, thanks for all the comments right here. But I don't want to lose my train of thought on the rematch. Wilder has done a great job on rematches, on just taking advantages of the weaknesses that he saw in the first fight and overwhelmingly winning those fights. And the narrative going into both of those fights were Stavern is a better boxer going into the first fight, and Wilder outboxed him in the first fight. In the second fight, Stavern's a better boxer, so I give him a chance in the second fight, and then he gets totally overwhelmed by Wilder. Same thing with Ortiz, right? Ortiz was the better boxer coming into the first fight. Wilder can't box with him, but Wilder made it a slugfest. He turned it into his type of fight. He lured Ortiz into that type of fight. Ortiz took him to hell in that first fight. Wilder came out of it smelling like roses, winning by knockout, and then winning in the second fight by knockout as well. So it almost calls into question as well, does fighting Wilder that first time, does fighting him the first time take a lot out of these fighters, right? I mean, look at Ortiz, look at Stavern. Are they a much different fighter? Are they a diminished fighter the second time they fight him? So we'll see with Fury as well. I just think Fury is cut from a different cloth, man. He lives for this big moment. You saw it in the Klitschko fight, right? Before the fight, he's in his hotel. Yeah, he can vary his attacks, man. He can come at you from multiple different angles. But Fury, in his hotel before the Klitschko fight, he's with multiple people. They're dancing, they're singing, they're having a good time. And he looked very loose, looked very free. He's just a free fighter in there. And I think when things hit the fan and when he has to go from plan A to plan B to plan C, I think he can do those things. I think he can. You saw it in the 12th round of that fight. He was out, and then all of a sudden he wakes up like Weekend at Bernie's 2, pops up, and then he's back in the fight. Like, this guy just, he's a hell of a fighter, man, and a hell of an athlete and a hell of a warrior. So, and a hell of a boxer. We already know that, high ring IQ. But more on that in a later video about the rematch. I'm going to be dropping Fury versus Wilder videos all week. So look for those every night. Canelo video coming up as well, because there's rumors of him fighting possibly Billy Joe Saunders in May. So I'm looking forward to that if that happens. So hit me up. Let me know what y'all think about all this. I'm out. Peace.